Blessed by pair-wise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors appear, quick, ready from ear to ear. Craving and rating in grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know our purpose. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you can see.
Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Monday edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark, and today has been a good day thus far. What a weekend it was for college football, for NFL football, tons of upsets. We're going to get into all of that, the Solheim Cup. We're going to talk about that because, we got to talk about women's sports as well when we get a chance, and we will be talking about the WNBA when we talk about more NBA basketball starting tomorrow. And remember, next week the Thunder start. Yes, it is next week from Sunday. The Thunder start their 13 days. Start their drive for an exciting year that we're all looking forward to. I know I am looking forward to the Thunder this upcoming year. It's going to be exciting to see what they bring to the table. I'm sure every game is going to be packed. Hopefully you guys are going to be packed, and we're going to try to have the mayor on sometime once the season gets going to talk about the new arena and all this coming up. We'll probably do it sometime either right before the vote, which hopefully everybody's going to vote yes to, because why would we not do it? I mean, we need a new gym, and I just had an argument with somebody, not an argument, but a discussion about why the hell do we need a new arena, and I'm like, are you kidding me? What do you mean, why do we do it new? I said, you're a basketball fan or you're a sports fan? Why would we not have that on? And, of course, I'm wearing my Ryder Cup because guess what's coming? The Ryder Cup is coming back up at the end of the month. So I'm excited about seeing that, or seeing the Ryder Cup. I cannot wait. This is going to be, I'm so excited for us to do it because yesterday, of course, the women lost, but we'll talk more about that towards the end of the show. So starting off yesterday, we're going to talk about college football, and we're going to talk about the scores. And Colorado lost, which a lot of people are excited about, which it's just funny to me. It really is funny to me how everybody's excited. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the deal. That's the score. Sorry about that. How people are excited about him getting beat, and it's so funny is they posted the pregame speech, which I thought was interesting, for Dan Lanning, the coach of Oregon, talking about we're not playing for Hollywood, we're playing for likes. Why would you have your postgame, your pregame speech on if you weren't playing for likes, if playing for clicks? Why would you not? Why did you have it on? You had it on for one specific reason. You had it on for the simple fact. Well, hold on, let me put my face on so you can really see what I'm trying to say. You had it on for one specific reason, so that you could get likes, so that people can say, yeah. Plus, you signed one of your 5-star recruits that you and USC were going after. So, really, Coach? And this is what's funny is, there was internet, all the traffic going back. Oh, yeah, you won one for us. It's amazing to me to how all these coaches come at Deion. He doesn't come at them. Why do you have to put down another man to make yourself feel better? Oh, you're insecure. Second reason you're doing that is because you know that you fear him. And you're insecure and you fear him. Well, so that's part of the first reason. And the second reason is because he's building something that you could not do on your own. You did not take over a 1-11 team who was last in the FBS, who was getting beat by 30 points a game. You couldn't do it. He's done it, and you're jealous. He's also taken some of your players. You're jealous. And the most important thing is, guess what? He's going to remember that, what you said and what you did to him. He's like me. I would tell all my kids, I would go, dude, I remember when you did what you did to me. I remember when you kicked my butt. We came back and beat every team, and you can ask all my players, Brendan Mullins. You can ask Thatcher Anderson. You can ask Josh McDaniel, Caleb Killebrew. You can ask any of these guys, Carter Moody. You can ask any of them. Okay? You can ask any of them. I told them when we were getting beat by 40 by these teams, I said, in 3 years, you're going to catch up and you're going to beat all those teams. And we kicked every one of us butt by 20 except one, and we should have beat them if it wasn't for the referee, the official. And I don't really normally blame officials, but she and I don't speak because of what she did. So all I'm saying is Deion Sanders goes, if you're going to get me, you better get me now. And you better and he's taking receipts. Why? Because of all the hate that's coming towards him. He has an over 90% graduation rate. His kids, he's taking kids that people discarded, that he's turned these people's lives around. He's helping these kids. Everybody talks about it like click. No, you older people who don't understand, like you, there's a lot of people who don't understand live stream. Well, man, I can't see your face when I'm at work. Dude, just turn the phone on to Facebook or YouTube, and you can listen to me just like you do the radio. It's the exact same thing. But people are slower to catch up on that. Okay? So people are slow. So they're just mad because he's taking advantage of it. All their kids have their @whatever on the back of their plastic jerseys. And then, of course, he's promoting it. Why? So these kids can start getting likes and stuff on their own to promote their own brand. So those kids that are in NIL or whatever, that they don't have to depend on somebody else. They can get money themselves. But people don't understand the marketing genius of this man and how he is committed to these kids. And it's just funny that this guy, we're not Hollywood, we don't like likes. You did that for likes. That's exactly why you did it. Because nobody gives a shit about Oregon other than teams out west. You better stay out there because now you're moving to the Big Ten. Or the SEC, whichever one he's moving to. Now you're in trouble. You're going to learn the lesson that Nebraska learned. That Colorado learned. You don't leave the hub of what you're doing, and you're going somewhere else. You're not gonna get all those looks, and you're gonna go against Lincoln Riley. And I can promise you, Lincoln Riley's gonna go get your dudes. I promise you, he's gonna be just like Pete Carroll was. Anybody west of Arizona, don't go out there. They're going to USC if they can play. So, that being said, other than that, it was a great college day. A bunch of games. Some of those ones I was watching, and I'm just going, what in the hell are these coaches doing? Florida State and Clemson, what a game that was. Florida State, I'm just not a fan of Clemson based on what they had done, with their coach and the stuff that he had pulled, and he's just slowly starting to disintegrate because of the simple fact that it was that time. It was, he had slowed down on what he was doing. He had slowed down on the recruits coming there. Why? Because of the stuff that he had said and the stuff that he had, the way that he acted with his players. That kind of stuff comes back to bite you at some point. Florida State, on the other hand, they did everything they could to win this game. I was really, really pleased to watch good football, and because the other games sucked. Now, Ohio State and Notre Dame, to me, that game right there, Notre Dame gave the game away. They played not to lose instead of to win, because this is the way I look at it. They have 3 timeouts, and you're running the ball up the gut. They stop you a couple times, then you throw a pass to stop the clock, and they only had 1 timeout left. Why would you do that? I know you're trying to get the – dude, just go ahead and run the football. Your defense is playing great. Their quarterback is weak. He's scary. So all of a sudden, what do? Punt the ball to him, make him burn that last timeout. Then they got to drive the length of the field. Then on top of that, you're blitzing the quarterback, and the 2 times you didn't, he threw a nice long pass to Marvin Harrison, and then the other time you got 3 guys down on 4th down. Are you serious? Prevent defense? Bring the house at this guy and make him make a play. But instead, no, what do? What do? You let them pick up the first down. I was sitting there going, what are you doing? I'm sitting there screaming at the TV, and I was sitting there with my guy Gregory Nafee, and he and I were both saying the same thing, like, what the hell are y'all doing? They don't have any timeouts. You go ahead. I understand you're going to try to pass to keep the ball. Run the ball again. Why? Because if the whole thing is, if you go for it and you miss it, then you stop the clock and give them a chance, and you still got to punt the ball. Why not run the clock out? Let them that's 30 seconds that they don't have. But you gave them an additional 30 seconds, and they scored with 3 seconds to go at the buzzer, or scored basically with no seconds, but they had a chance. Why? Because you gave them an extra 30 seconds, and you gave them a timeout. I don't understand. But Ohio State's quarterback, that's the weakest they've had in a very long time there. Now, maybe he'll get better because this is only the third game of the season, so maybe fourth game of the season, so maybe he will get better. We shall see. But they flip-flop with Florida State. They're now third in the country, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like I said, I already talked about the Colorado. Well, I didn't talk about the game itself. So the Colorado-Oregon game, when Travis Hunter was out with the late hit last week, and I said the Colorado, skill position-wise, they're great. But at the same time, Shedeur Sanders has been sacked more than any quarterback in college and the FBS, number one. Number two, like Deion said when he was on the show talking to Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, he said, look, I'm 7 or 8 guys away. He was talking about his offensive defensive line. That's what he was talking about. Linebackers, he's good. Cornerbacks, he's good. Excuse me. But offensive, defensive line, no. He's hurt. So that's what he was saying. He's 7 or 8 dogs away. That's what he meant by that. And you can see Oregon, they just had a great game plan. They went for it on fourth down. They did everything they could possibly do. But like I said earlier, if I'm Deion, I'm taking receipts on that dude. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got you. I'll catch you on the flip side. So anyway, great win by Oregon. Congratulations to the Ducks. But it just cracks me up how people they say what they say. In Oregon, how many uniforms do y'all guys have? How many different changes of uniforms? Plus, Nike is your biggest donor, giving you all this money, giving you all these uniforms. Why do you do that? You do that for recruiting purposes. So, because you have zero attention and nobody's giving you attention, nobody outside of the west part of the United States basically knows you that you can go out and get, but you've been out recruiting USC for the last 8 years. That all stops now because Lincoln Riley's there, so he's going to go get guys that you used to get. So your day is coming. So you be careful because those tables, they always turn, my friend. Tables, they always turn. UCLA and Utah, man, I tell you what, UCLA put up with a fight, but Utah, they're just sneaky good. They really, really are. Well coached, well run school, well run program. I like what they see. Cam Rising, he is just a handful, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Great job by him. Arkansas, and LSU. Man, LSU, they squeaked by one. Arkansas and Drew Hinthorn of Husker Drew Picks said that they were going to give them all they could, and they certainly did. Gave them all that they could handle. LSU coming out on top at the very end, of course, 34-31. What a magnificent, great game that was. Ole Miss and Alabama. Ole Miss came out, hit them in the mouth early, but Alabama he finally kept his quarterback in there. Alabama's defense stepped up in the second half and did everything that they needed to do to survive, and it just cracks me up because everybody, had Alabama out, but Nick Saban tried everything they could. Remember, he took the old Notre Dame offensive coordinator as his coordinator, and they brought that kid from Notre Dame. That's why he said, oh, we need to play this guy because, he was my guy and he can do it. Yeah, the SEC versus just playing regular teams at Notre Dame is not the same. Oregon State and Washington State, I tell you what, Oregon State's a very good team. Very good team. They gave Washington State all they wanted. Washington State, of course, still coming out on top by 3 at home. That was at Oregon State and Corvallis. I don't know if Washington State would have came away with the W, but fortunately they were playing at home. Penn State, just ridiculous. Ridiculous. But I know that I had got sent a text. that Penn State ran more offensive plays than Iowa had yards from scrimmage. Isn't that crazy? Drew Hinthorn sent me that. Penn State had more offensive plays than Iowa had yards from scrimmage. And Iowa was ranked 24th in the country going into that game. Now that is a beating. I mean, Oregon beat CU 42-6, no doubt, overmatched, no question. But for you to have more offensive plays than the opposing team had yards, that's what you call an old-fashioned whooping. That is what that's called. An old-fashioned beat down. I mean, when he sent me that, I looked at that. I had to I said, let me look at that again. Did I see that right? Penn State had more yards, more plays than Iowa had yards. I saw that. I was like, that is just unbelievable to me. How do you get beat down that bad? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you think about that for a minute. A team had more. Now, Oklahoma State looked bad, no doubt, but we did not look that bad. We did not look that bad. It wasn't that bad of a deal as a beatdown as that was. That was just a flat out, let me take you to the back of the woodshed and just spank that. Okay, Big 12 football, SMU 17, TCU 24. TCU, I thought they're looking better and better. They're 3-1 now since that embarrassing loss. Well, I don't know if you call it embarrassing, but since that loss to SMU, TCU has really stepped up and have won 3 straight games. So we're going to see them, really step up and do something well, I do believe. OU and Cincinnati, OU took care of business 20-6, 14 and a half, I think was the spread, 14 for some others. OU, Cincinnati's not that hard. I mean, not that easy of a place to play. A lot of people were beating the Sooners up because they didn't beat them like they should have, I guess. However you want to look at it. But OU, fantastic job. Still winning 20-6. I still not a Gabriel fan. I'm just not a fan of that guy, that young man. I'm just not. I think they're going to have to do something different in order to beat teams down the road. But on the other side of that, I did like what I was seeing. BYU and Kansas. BYU gave Kansas all they needed, and once again, Drew Hinthorn called that and said, hey, they're going to do more than what you think they're going to do, and they really, really did. It was quite a show for them, and I thought it was really good. Let me see. Yes. They put on quite a show, and Drew was right about that, saying that BYU is better than what they were, and Kansas took care of business against BYU. So, but what a great game again! Once again, we're getting into the teeth of the season. We're going to see what teams really are and how great. No, how great is not the word. How good is really the Big 12. But we're going to see what. Now that SMU is in, now that Houston's in, what are they going to do? Now that UCF is in, what are they do? Cincinnati, how well are they going to do? And then, of course, we're adding Colorado and stuff next year. So we're going in a couple of years. So we're going to see next year. So we're going to see what they really are really going to be made of. Texas Tech and West Virginia. West Virginia's sneaky 3-1 right now. We're going to go over the standings here in a second. But West Virginia at home, taking care of business over Texas Tech. And a lot of people didn't see that one coming. So West Virginia sneakily is becoming they're a lot better team than what we thought. And Drew, the prognosticator that he is, came up well with his predictions and what he said was going to happen. Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Okie State, once again, Iowa State, they're just I don't want to say thorn in the side of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but it's something about them that we just can't beat them. I don't know and don't understand what it is with them, but we cannot. They just beat us. I mean, when we were supposed to go to the national championship game, we got beat by them, and we were a better team. I think we would have beat Alabama, and because neither of them. And they said, "Well, Alabama would have ran on us." Alabama would have got scored on. like crazy. It's just like when they played OU for the first time. They weren't used to the type of offense, so we'd have just ran up and down on them. And that team that we had was ridiculously good. So I don't think there's no way, with Blackman and Whedon, there's no way they would have been able to handle us. There's just no way. We would have scored up and down at will against them. But once again, we go to Iowa State. It was right after the plane crash when we lost the OSU women's basketball coach. And, they said that affected them. And I said, I don't know if that affected them because I don't know if they knew the coach. I mean, you might know some of the players, but how well do you really know the women's basketball coach? Now, I did because I played basketball. So I really knew who he was, and I knew who the coach was. So I get that, but the football, I think that's once again, OSU football. They typically, when you expect nothing from them, they step up big and they produce. And when you usually want, you expect a lot from them, they underachieve more than not under Gundy. Sam Houston 7, Houston 38. We wanted to see Houston. I know myself, Nathan Taylor, we talked about it, Ben Dillman, High Stick Harry, Andrew Hinton. We all talked about how Houston really needed to step up and win one against Sam Houston. Not only for recruiting, but just because you can't go under 500 in the state playing against the team. Because remember, they lost to TCU. They got beat by, or they beat UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. They beat them, lost to TCU. So they couldn't go losing record there. So congratulations to my guy down there, Dana Hogerson, Coach Hogerson. So hopefully they can use this as a springboard next week. Or this coming weekend to get another victory. Texas at Baylor. Texas, I tell you what, they did, man. They look good. They really look good. Baylor's not an easy place to play in, and Texas went right down there. Too much talent, too much speed. Dialed up a great offensive play, and they just had just too many athletes for Baylor to handle. UCF and Kansas State. Kansas State does what Kansas State does. They're at home. Something about Manhattan. It's tough to win there in any sport, and especially football and basketball as well. But Kansas State, they win ugly, but they win. I mean, it's just they just win. I don't get it. I don't understand. And my boy Steve texted me to let me know, hey, look at my Wildcats. I said, yeah, boy, we're talking about your damn Wildcats. I talk about how good they are, so just get off my back and don't remind me about it. Yes, we do talk about them, and we talk about how well they are. So, but anyway, in the Big 12 standings, here's what we are after the week 4. And after the first full weekend where everybody has played at least one Big 12 game. Kansas is leading the conference 1-0, 4-0 overall. OU, of course, which I really don't count OU in Texas because they're SEC to me. But they both are 1-0, 4-0 in conference. And it would be, they have, since the conference has been established, been the best two teams in the conference overall. So, people were talking about what if they play, the OU fans and Texas fans are both talking about they play each other in the Big 12 final, and all that, in the championship game, and that's fine with me. If they play, great, whatever. Get on out of here. Yeah, you guys have both been the two dominant programs, and especially OU hasn't been in the Big 12. So, yeah, go ahead. You guys are gone. I think it's, appropriate you guys play each other, and then you're gone. So, by all means, bye-bye. See you later. I'm not unhappy with you guys. Of course, I won't go to the game. And nor will I wear orange or burnt orange, or nor will I wear that red color, crimson or whatever. I wouldn't wear either one of those, I have to watch the game simply because we'll have to report on it. So both teams 4-0. Then of course you got Kansas State sneaking in there 3-1. I don't know if they're sneaking, but the team that really is sneaking is TCU. They're 1-0. Kansas State 1-0. They're both 3-1. Of course, TCU winning their last 3 straight games. Sonny Dykes has got those guys rolling. West Virginia, to me, is the really surprise of 3-1. They've really shocked me that they are 3-1. I was like, wow, really? Man, that's pretty good. So they're 1-0 in conference, 3-1. Iowa State 1-0, 2-2 overall. And I think Iowa State is Iowa State. They're trying to figure it out. But ever since Brock Purdy left, they've been trying to figure out last year was a dumpster fire for them at quarterback. And in any league, any division, you have to have a quarterback. High school, college, pros. You have to have a quarterback or you're just not going to be very successful. That's just the way it is, it seems like these days. BYU 0-1, 3-1 overall. They suffered their first loss of the season. Like I said, they had to come back and they will be fine. Did they lose to Kansas State? I believe it's who they lost to. Who did they lose to? Man, I've already forgot who they lost to. They lost to Kansas. Sorry. They lost to Kansas. Kansas sitting at the top of the Big 12 schedule. UCF 0-1, 3-1 overall. Cincinnati 0-1, 2-2. I tell you what, they've lost to their coach. They lost their coach, and Luke Fickle, and I think they're just gonna have to rebuild. I mean, you got to get your own players in there. It depends. He must have left the cupboard not full, or he wouldn't have left. He knew exactly what he had coming, so he probably used that as an excuse to get the hell out. Houston 0-1, 2-2 overall. Oklahoma State 0-1, 2-2. But like I said, it's Iowa State. I mean, I don't really take too much one way or another with that because it's Iowa State. We just don't play well against them for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but we just don't. Then of course Baylor 0-1, 1-3. Texas Tech 0-1, 1-3. Both of those teams are very capable, but at the same time they are at the bottom of the Big 12. So I don't know if either one of them, they're going to surprise some teams, I promise you. They're going to slip up and beat some teams who are going to think they're going to win one, especially going to both of their home places to try to get a W. They're not easy to win at. So Lubbock or Waco, either one are hard places to get a W. So Texas went in there and just punched them in the mouth. But we shall see if anybody else can do that because that place is a lot harder to win than what you think it is. So you can go ask Oregon. Oregon, had their play butts handed to them, but of course it was the first game of the season. So, Ben's telling me my audio keeps cutting out. I don't know why that is. That's not good. No wonder people are leaving. So I'll try to figure that out. I can't cut it out. We just got to deal with it today. So I'll fix it. Have them call in. There's nothing I can do at this particular point. I'm sorry for that, for everybody. So. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and talk about our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. I want to thank them for everything that they've been doing for us, keeping us up and running. And as soon as we're off the show, I will let them know what's going on so they can, in turn, fix whatever problem that there is. SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, contact my guys. Oak Grove Trucking. If you have any needs for rocks or dirt to be moved, my guy Jose Fierro is the man. And, of course, Greg and Max Nafee at NAFCO. They are the people, and in fact, Greg and I had a great time the other night talking about the games and watching the games and being pissed off together and screaming while there was a party going on. In the other room, we were back at Mike Davis' office. While everybody else was having a party in his bedroom, Greg and I were there watching the game drinking, so thought that was pretty funny. YNB, family-owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com if you want to get a loan, or you can go in and see them at any of their locations. The main bank, 401M in downtown Yukon. YNB East, which is off the Yukon Parkway in 66 or 39th Expressway, however you look at it. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is on Garth Brooks, just south of I-40, just right there when you exit. If you're going east, you exit, and it's right there to the right, right in front of Integris Hospital. YNB Peoples, 6201 Northwest 23rd, between Rockwell and MacArthur, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship for us to go out and support black, minority, and women-owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. Appreciate them tons for their sponsorship. Don't know what we would do without them. DT Construction and Consulting and our guy Drew Henthorne. If you have any needs for roofing or construction, painting, inside, outside, or consulting on how you want to, if you want to come in and redo your kitchen or anything like that, they are the people that come to contact, and they can give you a hookup and a nice quote on what they can do for you. You can call him at 405-209-4051 or DT Construction 2015 at Outlook. At Outlook.com. They're respectful, local, and loyal. So that means that if you call, Drew will answer the phone. So contact my guy, DT Construction and Consultant, if you have any needs for anything to do with your house or business. They are there to take care of you. That's what they do really, really well. So, but anyway, it's been, like I said, this weekend. I love the fact that football is here, because when football is here, what does that mean? It means the basketball is right around the corner. Okay, that's what I like. But we just spent the first part of the show talking about college football. Now we're going to get to the NFL, and we're going to start out with NFL news. And the NFL announces that Usher, or Ursher, depending on who you are, depending on how you say his name. I still have never understood how you get Ursher out of USHER. I don't know how they call him Ursher. I really don't understand it. At halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl. Now, I think, Usher by himself is fine, but I think he needed somebody else. He's not Rihanna. I liked the fact when they had Snoop Dogg and they had everybody together on the same stage. Dre, they had Eminem. I liked it better when they had everybody on there. Mary J. Blige. I think when you have a bunch of them, it's great, because Rihanna, she can handle it by herself. Bruno Mars, I think he can handle it by himself. Taylor Swift, she could do it by herself. Very easily. But, Usher, I still like Usher, but I don't know if I'm actually going to watch him or not. Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams tore his ACL, so he's out for the rest of the year. And then the Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith says the 12s got them a win, talking about their fans they call the 12th man. And they are crazy, crazy, crazy there in Seattle, loud. And there was all the penalties the Panthers had. It was sad. I mean, every time you turn around, they were doing some sort of procedure penalty and looking at each other because they could not hear what was being said. So this goes to show you that when the Thunder happen, or when the Thunder season starts, how crazy our fans are, and how I cannot wait to go to games so we can hear, so it can be Thunderdome once again. The Browns just completely dismantled the Titans like I thought that they would. That defense for theirs is legit. They are truly, truly legit. The Lions took care of the Falcons, and the Lions are the real deal. Now, granted, they would not have beat the Chiefs if Travis would have been there and Tony was ready to play. But, yes, Tony only had one target yesterday, so I'm not sure what the Chiefs are really going to do with him, but he's going to have to step up. I don't know if he's lost his confidence that he had gained last year, but it seems to be gone. The Falcons, the Lions are tough. At home, too, 20-6. The Lions are rolling right now. Packers, 18-17 over the Saints. Jordan Love, great job of him coming back from the 1-point loss. Down 17 for a 1-point victory, scoring 18 points in the fourth quarter. They were down 17 to start the quarter. Great job by the Packers. The Saints, Derek Carr getting hurt, and with his shoulder, that did not help them at all. So we'll see what's going to happen with them. Broncos, 70-20. I've been on the other end of a butt whooping, and all you can really do is just say, hey, this is what we did right, this is what we did wrong, this is what we got to do to improve. I mean, that's all I can say to that. I mean, some of those players gave up. There's no question that they gave up. No doubt. But you have to rethink it and redo it. I mean, that's all you got to do. Chargers 28, Vikings 24. How this man has his job, Brandon Staley, you're up 4, and you go for it on your own 24-yard line. They have no timeouts. It's Kirk Cousins. You've got Bosa and them up front, Khalil Mack on one side, Joey Bosa on the other side. Why would you not Kenneth Murray in the middle? Why would you not punt the ball? Make them go the length of the field. And you gave them a short field. Unfortunately for you, It was Kirk Cousins because the Lions get a first down. I mean, excuse me, the Vikings get a first down, and Kirk Cousins is trying to run a play. Just go up there and spike the ball. Give yourself 2 plays. Instead, you throw in an interception because you're rushing and you're panicking. Dude, just go up there, spike it. That's 1 play gone. You have 3 plays left, and you have 30 seconds. But instead, you have 1 play in 12 seconds, and you got to run another play. I mean, just horrible. But of course, they had no timeouts. But that's your job as quarterback to understand what to do. But it's Kirk Cousins. And the pressure's on. The guy, I liked him in the movie. I mean, in the show, the documentary Quarterback. Great job. I really, really like the guy. I like everything about him. But man, he just pressure's on. He's just not there. Along with somebody else we're getting ready to talk about here in a minute. The Patriots 15-10 over the Jets, and let's face it, the Jets probably would have won the game had Sauce Gardner been out of position on a cover 3. And the Patriots got that long touchdown by their tight end, who I say he pronounced the guy's name. Never heard of him before. And but once again, the Jets, they're going to have to they're going to have to hold teams to under 10 because Zach Wilson is not the guy. But I mean, what do? I mean, you're stuck. And the problem is the guys in the locker room don't have no confidence in the guy, and he knows it, which doesn't help any greater. And they're just putting more pressure and more pressure and more pressure on him because none of those guys want to go out there with the possibility of getting hurt and knowing they're not going to win. That is just, and especially as good a team as they've got. But I think what Rex Ryan said this morning, what they're going to need to do is just go ahead and just defense is going to say, look, we're going to have to hold them to under 10, and we're going to have to score at least 1 touchdown ourselves because we know we're good for a touchdown and maybe a field goal or at least one or the other, but we're going to have to create points on our own. That's what they're going to actually have to do, I believe, the Jets, in order them to win some games. And they need to win 5 or 6 games, 7 games because, they need a left tackle. Aaron Rodgers is coming back at the end of the year. Then you get him a backup quarterback in the draft. There's tons of them, and we'll talk about that in a minute, how many quarterbacks there are. So, I mean, they've got a chance to really do something. The Bills look just strong, and, me complimenting Eric Bieniemy, they just got manhandled. And the Bills, after their loss, I mean, they have just been on fire, and I think they're trying to prove a point to everybody right now. They smashed the Commanders 27-3, and it just wasn't even close. It just wasn't even close. That defense was ridiculous. Josh Allen was his old self, but, it's Josh Allen. One minute he's like that. Next week, who knows what you're going to get from him. Texans and the Jaguars, C.J. Stroud. He's playing better than any other rookie quarterback right now. He looked good, threw the ball good. The Jaguars, I don't understand that team at all. They had went 9-1 against teams other than the Chiefs their last 13 games or 10 games. And so, I mean, you just can't. I mean, the Texans just went in there and hit them in the mouth and won. I mean, I do like the Texans, and I thought that they would win 6 or 7 games. But what we're going to do is at the end we're going to talk about we're going to go over the Broncos and the Jets schedule and what all they have to do and have to win. Colts and the Ravens, the Ravens are beat up, and that's part of the reason why I put the Steelers in there instead of them in the playoff in my predictions, because I just have no confidence in the Ravens because they get hurt. They're just snake bit. I mean, they really, really are. And Lamar has to run the ball, which he does. Because I don't think he can sit back there and throw the ball, especially with B.J. Hurdy. All he has is Zay Flowers to throw to him, Mark Andrews, and they're trying to turn him more into a throwing quarterback, but that's not Lamar. I mean, he's decent from the pocket when he's rolling and in rhythm, but for the most part, he is a Michael Vick is what he is more than anything else. I think Michael Vick could throw the ball better than him, but that's basically who he is. Panthers 27, Seahawks 37. That 12th man that Gino was talking about, I mean, they just were all over them. The Panthers could not hear just one little penalty after another that they couldn't hear because it's so loud in that place. And, basically had them. And then once, when you're better than a team and you hit them in the mouth and you're putting them down, then no matter what, they're going to be able to come back. And, with Andy Dalton in there, he's a decent quarterback, but he's not going to win you games. He's just not. And which is why he is, what is this, his 15th, 16 or whatever. But he was pretty decent when he was younger, playing in Cincinnati. But since then, yeah, no, not so much. The Bears and the Chiefs just handled the business. They did what they needed to do. They still got guys dropping passes. I think he had, 5 drops yesterday. And, of course, they have to handle their business. But the biggest news is Taylor Swift was in the house. So I saw some Cincinnati, Cincinnati Bearcats fans talking about Taylor Swift will not date one of your players. Travis Kelce is a Chief. Now, was she a dating when he was Cincinnati Bearcat? Probably not. But since he's the greatest tight end in the history of National Football League and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, yeah, I could see her dating him. Now, the question with Travis is feeling himself. You can just tell, he's just, since he's been on Saturday Night Live and he's getting all this attention, to me, Travis has kind of changed his personality just a little bit. And I hope I hope I'm just misreading this, but with the success of his podcast with his brother, and him being on all the commercials and doing all this stuff, I'm hoping it doesn't, because he doesn't seem like the Mahomes type guy. How Mahomes is just, he can handle it, because Travis hadn't had the success that Mahomes has had, and I think that Mahomes handles it, and I'm hoping that Travis does. But with him fighting people, in preseason, him kicking the ball when he came back, I mean, his frustration is there, and just by the way he's walking, he just walks like, I'm the man, and he is the man. But I just hope that doesn't get in the way and now dating Taylor Swift, because, Travis, I got to explain something to you. She way bigger than you are, bro. She way bigger. And Bill Belichick, as he said, Travis has caught has made some great catches, but this would be the greatest catch he's ever made. That would be a fact. Beautiful, 30s, so, has her own money, does her own thing. She's more famous than you are. You don't have to worry about a lot of other things that's going on, because she doesn't really need you. She wants you, which is the most important thing that a man or a woman can have, is that somebody who wants you, that they don't need you. That is the most important thing that I think that you can have. The Cowboys and the Cardinals, excuse me, right, I had to blow my nose. Didn't want to do that in front of everybody. The Cowboys and the Cardinals hit the Cowboys in the mouth, and the Cowboys never recovered. Never recovered. I mean, but, with with Trayvon Diggs going out, the Cowboys are going to need, especially that happened Thursday. It's kind of like the Chiefs and the Lions. When something happens and you lose one of your key pieces, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to make the transition in a couple of days. Not going to work. It's not going. You can't. You're going to need at least a week to prepare. So I don't really look at the Dallas defense. And I think this is more of an anomaly. I don't think this is something that's going to happen every week. But people are like, oh, they saw a recipe. No, Dallas didn't have. I mean, he got hurt on Thursday. They played on Sunday. There's no way you can implement a game plan and somebody else can take over for this man. It's not going to happen. So, it's going to take Dallas a week, and I promise you they'll be better next week and the week after, because they're a powerful group of guys. But, they thought they could go in and just beat the Cardinals, and it didn't happen. And then for them to depend on Mike McCarthy and Dak, I mean, I can't, 6 minutes ago, he's running play after play after play, eating up the clock, grinding the ball down. Why aren't you throwing the football? And then when it came time to throw the football, Dak threw an interception. So that's telling us that you don't believe in Dak, because you ran, 5 or 6 straight running plays, kept your timeout. So he ran 3 minutes off at least off the clock himself. I didn't understand that. I'm like, why are you running the ball over and over and over? I mean, I don't get that. You have to throw the ball at some point, because if you miss, at least it's a, you have to worry. I mean, you're not worth burning time, and you can get out of bounds. But when you're running the ball up the middle, you're burning time. It's Mike McCarthy here. I don't understand the Cowboys. I really don't understand their offense. But the one thing I do know, and the defense knows, and everybody knows, including Dak, if you got to depend on him to win a football game for you, you are in tons of trouble. Steelers and the Raiders. Uh, Steelers, man, that defense looks good, but I can tell you, the Raiders. I mean, they're losing, but hey, but this is how they've been. Though I will say that nobody's gonna come in there and just. I mean, they're gonna lose and get their butts kicked every now and then. But I'm gonna say this about the Raiders: they're not bad. They are not bad, and I don't. They just can't seem to win. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, he was getting hit, and you could just see he had happy feet, and he was trying to get rid of the ball because the Steelers' rush was all over him. I mean, they were all over him. But that being said, Mike McDaniel kicking a field goal down there at the end, and I do understand he's trying to get points. I mean, because you're down, and so you're down, so you got to get the points. I mean, I get that, okay, where you got to score. But if I'm down there, I know his chances is like, hey, look, I'm gonna kick off. I'm gonna get 3 points. I'm gonna kick it off. We got 3 timeouts. We're gonna stop them, and then we're gonna do the game. And I will say that the plan was working, but that great third down rollout pass by Kenny Pickett, hitting, I forget what the receiver's name was, but he caught it, got the first down, which added on to which was the ball game. So I will admit that in particular, which is what Notre Dame was attempting to do, but they had a horrible call, and it was a great defensive plan by Jim Knowles in Ohio State, what they called up for Notre Dame. So Notre Dame's execution versus Ohio State's execution right there, two completely different things. But the Raiders did the same, or the Steelers did the same thing in order to keep the ball and not give it back to the Raiders, because the Raiders were rolling on them. I'm going to say that. They were rolling up and down the field. So, but anyway, that was the NFL and everything that happened. And, of course, you know what tonight is. Tonight is Monday night. Eagles at Buccaneers at 6:15 on ABC. The Buccaneers are +5. Over and under is 44.5. I don't know. This game right here has kind of got me back and forth. I'm not sure what I mean, I don't think Baker and him can beat the Eagles, and I think after what the beautiful thing about playing on a Monday or a Sunday night, especially a Monday, is you got to see teams that were supposed to beat teams and what happened because the teams weren't ready for them. So now you get to say, okay, look, we know that we don't step up and ready to play. The Buccaneers can beat us. And Baker's playing, you give Baker time and you give him a clean pocket. He can throw the ball. And he's been the old Baker back, a la his rookie year again lately this past couple games for the Buccaneers. So we're going to see what's going to happen tonight against the Eagles. But the Eagles should handle their business. 44.5, I think I would take the Eagles and the points. Rams and Bengals, 7:15 on ESPN. I'm not a real fan. The only thing I like about having two games is if one game sucks, you have the other game to watch. That's the only thing I like about it. But when you have two good games, you're going back and forth, and especially like last week, because of the delay, both games were basically at the same time. So at the end, so it's kind of hard switching back and forth. But I will say this. Rams and Bengals, Joe Burrow, who's going to play tonight? I'm getting killed in fantasy football because he's my quarterback. Jamar Chase is one of my wide receivers. Both my running backs are out. Chubb is out, and Austin Eckler are both hurt. My quarterback's hurt, my wide receivers. So it's just my fantasy football. There's a reason why I don't play it. One, I don't really care about it, number one. And number two, it was just horrible. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Rams, Bengals. I think that the Bengals will handle their business. -2, I think they'll win. I don't think the Rams are going to be able to keep doing what they're doing. And plus, the Bengals defense is usually pretty good. Lou Amarillo is a very, very good defensive coordinator, and so I think he'll draw up a good plan. Plus, the Bengals know, hey, you're going to have to stop somebody because offensively, you're hurting people. I mean, you're hurt right now. So defense is going to have to step up. Plus, you are at home. So, nationally televised game, this is a chance for you really to step up and really do something tonight. So, we shall see how that works. But I was talking about the Denver Broncos and the Jets and where they stand. And the Broncos right now, they lost to the Raiders. They should have won that game. They lost to the Commanders, and now they've lost to the Dolphins. So, now they have to go to Chicago. So, Chicago's a dumpster fire, and they're a dumpster fire. But I will say this, Russell Wilson is playing better. They are scoring more points per game, but their defense is just horrible. The Jets defense is horrible. So I'm not sure what's going to really happen with that. But they've got to win this game. The Bears are at home. They've got to win. But the Broncos have to get a W tonight. I mean, it's imperative they get a W. They're going to have to. Uh, then they played the Jets, and it's funny because all the trash that he talked about Daniel Hackett, and we'll talk about the Jets in a minute and their lack thereof of offense. So I'm not sure about that and how that's going to work. Then, of course, they play at the Chiefs 2 days after my birthday on that Thursday. Uh, they always play the Chiefs tough, but with Chris Jones averaging a sack a game since he's gotten back, that defense is young, they're fast. Uh, I just don't see the Broncos. The Chiefs are not going to score 70 on them, but I just don't see any light in the tunnel. But if they can come out and they can beat the Bears and beat the Jets there in New York and at least win 2 games, lose to the Chiefs, they've got the Packers. That's a possible win for them. They should be getting better by then. When they play the Chiefs again, that's probably another loss. Then they get a bye. So if they are 2-6 or whatever doing, let me see, what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2-6. In that's at least something. If they're 1-7 or 0-8, Sean Payton can't open his mouth because he talked bad about how bad they were last year and what all happened. He can't really say, even though these aren't his players. I mean, let's face it, he had heard that everybody tried to bring in some guys, but it takes you 3 years in the NFL to come in and build a team up, unless you just came in and they were already loaded. It takes you 2 to 3 years to build a team. I don't care who it is. Every single coach you look at, all the good ones. You look at McVay. You look at all of them. They come back. It takes them 3 years to come in and rebuild a team, rebuild a culture, to get the players that you want. Excuse me, to get the players that you want in there. So then they get a bye. Then they're at the Bills. That's another L. And I had projected to win 10 wins. I don't see 10 wins. Over-under is 8.5, and they're not going to get there because they're going to lose to the Bills. So that's 7 losses. The Vikings, I believe they can beat them. Excuse me. That's 8 losses. Well, actually, that's 8 losses. The Browns, that's 9 losses. At the Texans. Texans are playing really, really well. But I'm sure they may have it fixed by then, so I'm going to go ahead and give them a W there. The Chargers, that's 10 losses. Lions, that's another loss. Patriots, they should be able to beat the Patriots, I would think. Another loss to the Chargers, and then at the Raiders. So, you're looking at 6 wins, so 6-11. I don't even think they're going to be able to get 7-10. I don't see that happening. So, but yeah, that's going to be ugly. Then on the Jets side of it, it's even worse because of the simple fact that they have zero confidence in their quarterback. I mean, zero confidence in their quarterback. I mean, zero, zero, zero confidence in their quarterback. So when I look at that, they won at the Bills, lost to the Cowboys, destroyed. Patriots beat them, which they should have won. South Gardner doesn't make that one mistake. They win 10-7. Still almost lost. Still almost won the game on the last second heave, which was impressive because he threw that 67 yards. That was impressive. Broncos, at the Broncos, they're both dumpster fires, but I think Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. We show the battle of the Wilson boys. The Eagles, Eagles are going to handle their business when they get a bye. They turn around, they got to go at the Giants. I think they'll lose. They could possibly win that game because their defense can beat up Mac Jones. I mean, not Mac Jones, but Daniel Jones. So they can get a W there. Chargers at home, no. But the Chargers, you look at the Chargers, they should have lost yesterday because, one, they've got that touchdown at the end to take the lead, and if the cornerback catches the ball, that's an interception. And no one says that. They talk about the coach, and I did too. But at the same time, hey, that's an interception. You got to catch that straight through your hands, off your face mask, to the receiver for a go-ahead touchdown. If you take that away, They're up 24-27. 20, what is it, 20, 24-21. Take the ball over. But instead, other way around. Uh, then, of course, the Raiders at home. Excuse me, I have to go to the Raiders, to Vegas. That might be a nice little relaxing place. Do a little gambling, have a little fun. You might be able to get away with a nice W there. Even though I don't know if players are even. I need to check that. I don't know if players are allowed to even go in the casinos. I need to check and see if they can even do that. I would imagine they could. At the Bills, Dolphins at home. That's a beatdown. At the Bills is a beatdown. Falcons, they possibly can win that game, depending on what kind of pressure they can put on Desmond Ridder. The Texans, like I said, CJ, who knows what CJ Stroud's going to be doing at that point. Plus, their defense can put pressure on him and force him into mistakes. And like I said, the Jets are going to have to hold opponents to 10 points. If they can hold opponents to 10 points, score a touchdown themselves, and get the offense to at least get a touchdown, at least a touchdown, they can win ball games. Okay, that's their only path to victory. And run the damn ball. You've got two good running backs there, and you don't just run the football. Everybody's gonna know you're gonna run the football. You got to run the football and be able to be good at it. That's your only recipe. Play good defense, hold the opposing team to 10 points, and run the football. So that way you're squeezing the game down, but you got to be able to go. Can't go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, running the ball. Zach is going to have to make some plays at some point. But anyway, at the Dolphins, that's another another L. The Commanders at home, that's a possible W right there, depending on what Sam Howell does, how much pressure you put on him, because he's like all young quarterbacks. If you put enough pressure on him, hit him in the mouth enough times, they will give the ball away. At the Browns, that's a loss because that defense is going to eat him up. And then, of course, the Patriots. The question is, will the Patriots be 16-0 in their last 16 games? That's what the question is going to be at that particular point. And then over/under, definitely under for the Denver Broncos at 8.5, and definitely under for the Jets at 9.5. And the question is for the Jets: do I go out and get Do I go out and get another quarterback? I say no. Just go with what you got. Maybe go with the backup or something. I mean, he's clearly not the answer either, but they don't have the money. But then again, you signed in with Aaron Rodgers, so you're all in. Kind of like the Rams were. They were all in. They won the Super Bowl, and then last year it cost them. And now they're slowly coming back. So if you're going to go all in, and something happens, you're screwed. But nobody expected Aaron Rodgers to go down on the fourth play of the game. Nobody, none of us, and we all knew right then that they were going to be in a boatload of trouble once that happened. That being said, golf news: Solheim Cup remains in Europe as they beat the USA. As they tied the USA 14-14. The USA women had to win 6 singles matches, and they ended up going 5-2. And they had a chance to do it, but they just could not get the W. Could not get that win. I mean, one win cost them. They had 5, and then of course the 2 ties. You got to be able to, you got to be able to close, and they couldn't do it. So great job and congratulations to Europe. And like I said, the Ryder Cup is next, and of course I do have on my Ryder Cup T-shirt, and we'll be watching the USA. You can see I got my Ryder Cup T-shirt. So the Ryder Cup, of course, will be held in this month, so I cannot wait. I'm excited about it. Let's go, USA. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So you will be seeing this T-shirt again because I will be supporting our team. So that being said, I want to thank everybody for watching this edition of the Unpopular Hour. I'm about my nose is going crazy with my sinuses. This weather is just beating me up. And those of you who have sinuses, y'all appreciate my pain that I'm going through. The rest of y'all have no clue what the hell I'm talking about, of course. That being said, everybody have a fantastic